and May Biography. Here is the Rockefellers, an American dynasty. Apparently part of the Illuminati, I guess some people think. This is by Peter Collier and David Horowitz. Is that the same David Horowitz that wrote a bunch stuff on universities and censorship and all that? 1976 by these two. Pretty large book on the Rockefellers. Seems to be a lot of the stuff here is on their family. It's got a full family tree of the Rockefellers. And interesting, in the beginning it talks about who were they ruthless robber barons. That is certainly a version of history that some people teach. I guess it's underneath the premise that if you're rich, you were rich. You became rich unjustly, which of course is not a correct premise. Here is a book on Edison, A Streak of Luck, by Robert Conot. This was printed in 1979. I guess at one time called the Man of the Century. But anyways, I'd be curious to have a look through. I guess some people study the man, study the person. I'm more interested in just I don't really care about their childhood and things like that. I care more about how they were when they were inventing things. So, like, it has on the back here stuff about him having these strange superstitions about getting into pajamas. I guess at one time people thought that if you took your clothes off, your regular clothes off, and put pajamas on, that you would get sick, and so people went to bed with their regular clothes on. Is that? I guess to have a biography, you would include that, but I don't care about that stuff. It's ridiculous. But okay, these last two ones were $1.50 or whatever on Amazon. Here is selected letters of Thornton Wilder. I don't know if he's probably not very well known. This is by Wilder and Breyer. It's probably recent, 2008. Thornton Wilder was an author and I believe a playwright. And the reason why I picked this up here is he's got a lot of letters to famous classical authors, like, for example, Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Gertrude Stein, a bunch of other people I've never heard of, blah, 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 yep. So, and there's stuff in here about Walt Disney and FDR in the White House. And also I guess he was in both World Wars. Yeah, he was a soldier in both World Wars. So I thought that might be neat to flip through one day, see what he has to say. It's quite a lot there. Even more than that one, even more letters, is Reagan. Reagan, A Life and Letters. I didn't know whether to put this in politics or in biography. That, again, the problem with having libraries, where do you put it? This is edited by Skinner, Anderson, and Anderson, published in 2003, 2004. So they've got them done here chronologically, and there's just all kinds of, I guess people wrote in. I read a few pages in here, and people would write in telling him things, and there was I remember one letter. Some lady wrote into him and said that you really should increase security at the White House, blah, blah, blah. And he wrote back and thanked her for that. And I just thought that was interesting kind of to see whether the president at one time was approachable to the public. And it appears, at least Ronald Reagan is, but how does that go for other presidents? Do you think that there is a collection of letters that will be published of George W. Bush or even Obama, selected a life and letters of Obama. Do you think that'll occur? It's possible that this book comes out of the tradition of Reagan being kind of the last great Republican. At the same time, though, these letters exist. They didn't just create them, right? They didn't decide first that, oh, Reagan's a sensation, and so we'll fabricate a bunch of letters. But they may have to do that for the other people. Does Obama write, and does George Bush write letters to people like this, especially personal ones, just to the average, from the average citizen, replies from the average citizen? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe they'll publish a life and letters of George W. Bush, but I kind of doubt it. Okay, that's it for that short section on new books and biography.